what if, and stick with me here, what if we could just like hit the undo button on cancer?
Undo button?
Yeah, like not just treat it when it pops up, but actually prevent it.
Oh, I see.
That's what has me so interested in this whole OvarianVax thing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff.
We're really, really digging into the research on this one. Summaries, lab results, all of it.
Trying to get the full picture.
Exactly. So we can understand how it works, what it could mean for, well, thousands of women.
And the challenges, of course. Developing new treatments, it's a process.
Totally.
Yeah.
And to help us break it all down, I've got our expert here.
Happy to be here.
So what makes OvarianVax different? Like, what sets it apart from the usual cancer treatments?
It's different because, well, it's all about prevention, not reacting to cancer, but stopping it before it even starts.
Okay, but how? How do you teach the immune system to do that?
Think of it like giving your immune system a wanted poster.
For cancer cells?
Exactly.
Okay, so walk me through this.
So there are these things called tumor-associated antigens. They're like little red flags, tiny protein markers on the surface of early-stage ovarian cancer cells.
And the vaccine teaches your body to look for these red flags.
And get this, OvarianVax doesn't just go after 1 or 2 of these antigens, it targets over 100 of them.
100?
Seriously, it's like casting a super wide net. So even if a few cancer cells slip through, the odds of them having all 100 antigens, almost impossible.
So the immune system can spot them.
Right.
Before they even become a real problem.
That's the idea.
Wow. So who benefits most from this kind of preventative approach?
Imagine you're a woman and you find out you have a BRCA gene mutation.
Which we know significantly ups your chances of getting certain cancers, especially ovarian.
Right, and these women, they have such a difficult decision to make. Preventative surgery, which has its own risks, or live with that, that constant fear.
A ticking time bomb almost.
Exactly. OvarianVax, it could give these women a completely new option, a way to protect themselves without the surgery.
To have that kind of agency, that control over your own health, that's huge. It's like we're talking about a future where, for some women, ovarian cancer just doesn't exist.
It's a powerful thought. And the research, it's really promising. Like they're doing these lab tests with, get this, miniature replicas of tumors.
Miniature tumors?
Yeah. They call them organoids.
Organoids, okay. Now you're just messing with me.
No, seriously. It's like science fiction stuff. They grow these tiny 3D models of organs, like mini ovaries, in a dish.
In a dish?
Yeah, and they're made from actual human cells. So they can test things like OvarianVax and see how it works on a tiny version of the real thing.
Okay, so they're testing this vaccine on a mini ovary in a dish.
Pretty much.
That is wild. And what are they finding?
Really good stuff, actually. They're seeing the vaccine is causing an immune response. It's doing what it's supposed to do, teaching the body to recognize and fight those cancer cells.
That's amazing. But this is still early stages, right? I mean, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Absolutely. These lab results are just the first step. The next hurdle is seeing how it works in actual people.
Clinical trials.
Exactly.
Which I imagine are, well, complicated.
They are. Lots of regulations, ethical considerations, all of that. It's a process, but they're already recruiting for the first phase.
And who are they looking for these first trials?
Well, it makes sense to start with women who have BRCA mutations, right? Because they're at the highest risk. Get it to the people who need it most as quickly and safely as possible.
Makes sense. And what happens during these trials? Like, what are the researchers looking for?
They're monitoring everything really closely. Any bad reactions, of course, that's top priority. But they also have to see if the vaccine is actually working in people like it did in the lab.
So it's not just about safety, it's about effectiveness too.
Yep. And not just for a little while either. They need to follow these women for years, see if the protection lasts.
Right, because this isn't about treating an immediate illness. This is about preventing something that might not show up for years.
Long game, for sure.
Okay, so let's say it works. Let's say this vaccine does everything we hope it will. There's still the issue of, will people actually be able to get it?
Access. You're right. A vaccine doesn't do much good if people can't actually get it.
Exactly. And that means affordable, accessible to everyone who needs it.
100%. And that's something they're thinking about right now. They're working with patient advocates, community organizations, all of that, to figure out how to get this vaccine to everyone who needs it.
I love that they're thinking about that now, not just waiting till later.
Yeah, it has to be part of the process from the beginning.
Okay, so they're thinking about access. They're getting good results in the lab. It sounds like they're really trying to cover all the bases here.
They are. It's exciting to see, honestly.
It's amazing, isn't it? all the moving pieces. Scientists, doctors, the patients themselves.
It takes a lot of brilliant minds to make something like this happen.
And that's what gives me hope,
Yeah.
It's not just about the science. It's about people coming together to make a difference.
Exactly, to make things better.
And that brings me to the big picture. If this works, if OvarianVax actually does what we hope it will, what does that mean for the future?
It could be revolutionary.
Really?
Think about it. If we can train the body to prevent ovarian cancer, what's next? Breast cancer? Prostate cancer?
You're saying we could, prevent those cancers too?
It might sound crazy, but what if we could eradicate them completely?
Eradicate, but that's,
It sounds impossible, right? But people probably thought the same thing about smallpox.
Good point. We've come a long way.
And OvarianVax, it could be the start of something even bigger. It's a completely new way of looking at healthcare, not just reacting to disease, but actually preventing it.
Wow. So as we wrap things up here, what's the one thing you want to leave our listeners with today?
I want them to feel hopeful. This is still early, but the research is so promising. It hints at a future where we have more control over our health than we ever thought possible.
I like the sound of that. Well, thank you for taking the time to walk us through all of this. It's been fascinating.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep those questions coming, and most importantly, keep learning. Who knows what incredible breakthroughs are just around the corner?